Going to take a listen now because the president is continuing that Q&A segment on the stage there at Davos.
Howard Lutnick, who I know spoke, and Howard's fantastic. Some of the deals we're doing are great, and I want to pay particular attention because we have Chris. And Chris, you got up and spoke. I think he's the #1 oil man in the world, because I was going to put Doug Burgum, who's fantastic. I don't know if Doug's here. Is Doug here? Doug Burgum is fantastic. He said, "Sir, there's one man better than me." And he introduced me to Chris, and he turns out to be. So we're drilling more oil and gas now than we ever have, by almost double. Is that right, Chris? And on top of it, we got a lot coming out of Venezuela. So anyway, so we're doing great. The country is just doing great. We have great people. Thank you. And I see other people. We have Steve Witkoff. We have Jared. I got so many people. I'm in trouble because when I go back, they're going to be people with long faces. "Sir, you didn't introduce me." I got so many people. And we have a lot of the greatest people anywhere in the world. I know them all. So I won't continue because we'd be here all day.
Thank you, Mr. President. We also know that you're a deal maker, and then maybe coming back to Greenland and Ukraine. What kind of deal in the end do you see between the U.S. And Denmark? Because, I guess you see it now as a negotiation going on, or?
Well, it's costing Denmark hundreds of millions a year to run it. And Denmark's a small country and wonderful people. But, it's very expensive. It's a very big piece of ice. And it's very important. I mean, I don't want to repeat the speech, but it's very important that we use that for national and international security. That can create a power that will make it impossible for the bad guys to do anything against the perceived good ones. And it's a great block for Europe. Just like, Denmark was supposed to spend hundreds of millions of dollars. They didn't spend the money. They didn't spend anything almost. And we'll see what happens. I just say this. NATO has treated the United States of America very unfairly. We never asked for anything. We never got anything. We actually took care of the needs of NATO for years and years, which I felt was always unfair. So I got NATO to pay because they're rich countries. But I think it's time that NATO step up. We're helping them with Ukraine. Without us, I think Putin would have gone all the way. I think we have it. I think that could have been a World War III, if you want to know the truth. If Kamala was elected, or Joe, any one of those, those thinkers, I think you could have ended up in World War III. And I will say Steve Witkoff has been dealing incredibly with. But we're not going to have World War III. We want to get it stopped, but we're not going to have World War III. I think if I wasn't elected, I think that could have evolved into World War III. It was a very, very bad situation, and it still is, but it's not that kind of bad. It's bad because so many young people are being killed.
How close do you think there is on an agreement on Ukraine? I had the pleasure of speaking with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner yesterday. I know they're working hard on it. I know that they're also traveling now. Do you see this very close or still?
Well, I hate to say it. I thought that was going to be so. I settled 8 wars plus. And I thought that was going to be one of my easier ones. Not the easiest. Some I settled in a matter of hours because I'm good at that stuff. The United Nations should be doing this. I shouldn't be doing it, but it doesn't matter. It's got to get done, saving a lot of lives. We're saving millions of lives. With Ukraine, Russia, there's tremendous hatred between President Zelensky and President Putin. That's not good. That's not good for settlements. We know from dealing. There's abnormal hatred. With that being said, I think Russia wants to make a deal. I think Ukraine wants to make a deal. And we're going to try getting a deal done. I think, Steve, I can say that we're reasonably close. But what happens is oftentimes we'll have a deal with Russia. Russia's set, and President Zelensky will not do it. You saw that when he was in the Oval Office. I was not happy. And then we'll have President Zelensky wants to make a deal, and Putin doesn't want to make the deal. It's a very difficult balance, and it's big time, and it is. To use a word, it's a bloodbath. It's horrible what's happening. It's a drone war. The drones are killing, thousands of people a week, thousands. We have to get it stopped. So I believe they're at a point now. I'm going to meet with President Zelensky later today. I believe they're at a point now where they can come together and get a deal done. And if they don't, they're stupid. That goes for both of them. And I know they're not stupid, but if they don't get this done, they are stupid. So I don't want to insult anyone, but you got to get this deal done. Too many people are dying. It's not worth it.
President Sisi is sitting on the first row here. He spoke earlier today and also complimented you on the Gaza deal. I think there will be a signing tomorrow. Of course, there are different views on this.
Well, coming back now, we're going to continue talking about some of those remarks we just heard from US President Donald Trump. Angela Diffley, our international affairs editor, joins me in the studio. Angela, we heard then Trump again saying that NATO hasn't really done much at all for the US, this in the context of the US president continuing his push to acquire Greenland. Where does this leave NATO and Europe?
Well, still in crisis, really. He was asked before he left the White House, are you prepared to, destroy NATO in order to have Greenland? And he said, you'll find out. Although he has backed off the idea for now of a military invasion of Greenland, it appears, it is still extremely destructive. Denmark has sovereignty over Greenland, and he appears to think that is utterly irrelevant. At no point did he mention the people of Greenland either. It is simply territory to be acquired. And he said simply, we've done lots for NATO. This is what we deserve. We should have this. We will obtain it. And, I think the position amongst European leaders will be hardening over using this trade bazooka, this anti-coercion instrument, because of this sort of rhetoric from Donald Trump. It will harm the US economy. It will also harm the European economy because he will retaliate. But the idea is to hit the economy in this year of the midterms because Americans don't care about Greenland that much, but they do care about their economy. Republicans in the United States are increasingly concerned about his attitude on Greenland, but ordinary voters are very much concerned about the economy.
All right, well, the president is still responding to questions there on the stage. We're going to take another listen.
Never have signed anything because you would have had this dark cloud, and the dark cloud was Iran with nuclear. Iran would, if we didn't take them out, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 months. They were very close to having the nuclear weapon, and we hit them hard. And it was a total obliteration. If they may try again, but they're going to have to try from a different area because that area was obliterated. Incredible thing we did. And because we did that, we were able to make peace. If we didn't do that, I would say, Jared and Steve, if we didn't do that, there was no chance of making peace because the countries I just named and other countries could have never signed off. They were afraid. They were afraid. We had a bully. The bully was Iran, the bully of the Middle East. They used to call it for years. They were the bully of the Middle East. They're not the bully of the Middle East anymore.
Mr. President, I know you even had to change plane last night, so I guess you didn't have much sleep, but I think but your energy is still there. I know you have several bilateral meetings. I know you're also hosting a reception. So thank you so much for coming back to Davos. Thank you so much. It's highly appreciated.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, very much.
Thank you.
The US president there ending that Q&A session and his remarks at the World Economic Forum in the Swiss Alps. We've been talking about that wide-ranging address that the president gave just over an hour long it was. Our White House correspondent Fraser Jackson is on the line with us talking about that. Fraser, we heard then there the president mentioning Iran. Many had hoped, or in Iran at least, that the US president would somehow intervene as we saw those nationwide protests in Iran. The president, though, just referred to military action with Israel when the US and Israel conducted those strikes on nuclear infrastructure in Iran.
Yeah, he said once again that the infrastructure there had been obliterated, decimated, a word that Donald Trump likes to use quite a lot when he speaks about these strikes. Of course, it was reported in the aftermath that it wasn't immediately obvious how significant those strikes had been in completely terminating Iran's nuclear hopes. But of course, the Iranian administration and regime is under pressure from Donald Trump. He has threatened to help the protesters, which have been sweeping the country for the last couple of weeks. I actually was at the press conference with Reza Pahlavi, the opposition figure who is widely being seen as a significant voice in this opposition. He held a press conference here in Washington on Friday, where he's been in exile since his father, the Shah, was deposed in 1979. And he said that he is ready to be a transitional figure and that he has a plan to instigate a transitional government until the Iranian people can decide what they want their future to look like. But when he was asked about what he wants the US to do, he said that he wants the US to help level the playing field because the people of Iran in these protests are being faced by the IRGC, which of course has a significant amount of weapons, but they also have intelligence capabilities. They have obviously missiles and other significant tools at their disposal. And he wanted the US to do something to level the playing field for these people by taking out some of those capabilities. But of course, for now, Donald Trump has not done anything in Iran. There was talk a couple of days ago that the strike was about to happen, and indeed, behind the scenes here at France 24, we were getting ready for what we thought was about to be an imminent strike when reporting came through in the days that followed that ultimately Trump had been talked back from that by a group of Arab partners and the Israelis who, because they were not ready for the potential blowback from some strike on Iran. And Donald Trump at the moment still seemingly, though, ready to go forward with some kind of action in Iran, whatever that may be. He is still asking for options to be drawn up. But Donald Trump just less than 24 hours ago to my colleagues at News Nation said that Iran should be on notice and that effectively this wasn't over. So Donald Trump still very much has Iran in his sights, but of course that is one of a suite of different countries that Donald Trump has dealings with and has problems with at the moment.